Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today in this video we're going to find out what happens if you completely delete macOS from your Mac. Meaning, basically what we're going to do is wipe macOS completely from this 2013 Trashcan Mac Pro and only install Windows 10. First, what you need to do is open up Boot Camp Assistant in macOS. Then go up to the action item in the menu bar and download the Windows support software for your Mac. And you will need to save it on a USB. We will need to use it and install it later in the video. As you see, we're going to put it on our USB drive, and then we will need a second USB drive to create the Windows 10 installer. But once you have the Windows support software from Boot Camp Assistant downloaded to your USB, we can move on to the next step. Alright, so we are now in Windows, and as you can see, we are currently creating our Windows 10 installer using a second USB. Alright, our Windows installer has now finished writing files to our second USB. We can now restart the computer and hold the Option key to bring up the boot menu to boot into the Windows setup. I've already created a Windows 10 USB installer as you saw before, and we are now going to boot into it. And here we go, we are booting from the USB. There we go, we're getting the spinning wheel finally after like 2.5 minutes. Alright, and here we are in the Windows setup. So I'm just going to be using the keyboard for this because I don't have a mouse hooked up to this right now. So we're going to be using the tab key and the enter key and the space bar. If you guys didn't know, those are the keys you mainly use when you don't have a trackpad. So obviously we don't have a product key because we don't mess with Microsoft like that. Windows 10 Pro, next. We accept the license, next. We want custom install. Now here is where you can see all of our partitions on our drive. I don't know, I guess we're just going to delete all these partitions. Hopefully we don't really mess anything up. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete this partition. We're going to delete this partition. Okay, so now we've deleted all the partitions on our Samsung 980 Pro 2TB SSD that's in this 2013 Trashcan Mac Pro. We can now continue with the Windows install. So next, it's going to copy the files from the Windows installer USB to the internal SSD, and hopefully once this is done, we will boot into Windows. Alright, it's now getting files ready for installation. We're at 82%, 90%. We are now installing updates, which it is not installing any updates because we are not connected to the internet. Windows needs to restart to continue, restarting in 1 second. Should automatically bring us back to the Windows 10 setup. And as you heard, we just got the chime on the Mac. And we get the Windows loading screen, finally. Starting services, getting device ready, getting ready. And the main reason why I did this, by the way, is because I just plainly do not need another computer with macOS. I have the M3 Max MacBook Pro and the M4 Mac Mini. The 2013 Trashcan Mac Pro is literally, as crazy as it sounds, purely a gaming computer for me. I've been playing all the old Call of Duties, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and GTA 4 currently on this Mac Pro. And let me tell you, it runs incredibly smooth. Now, the GPUs in there are the D700s, the dual D700s, the highest ending graphics you can get for this machine. And I upgraded it from 32 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes of DDR3 1866 megahertz memory, which was the max it could support back in the day. As well, it does have a 2 terabyte Samsung 80. Uh-oh, that's not a good sign, guys. I'm gonna hold down the Option key and see what we can do. And let's try this again. Maybe this time it won't blue screen crash on us. That's actually the first time I've ever seen that screen, believe it or not. Okay, and here we go. Now we're successfully in the regular Windows 10 setup. I'm going to show you guys the quickest way to do this without all of Windows bullshit. So we're going to hit yes on United States. We're going to hit yes on US. We're going to hit yes on skip. We're going to make sure we select I don't have internet. And we're going to make sure we select continue with limited setup. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Taylor. Next, we don't need a password. And you're going to want to turn off all of these options. So go through each one and turn them all off. Because screw Microsoft and their data collection practices. No, we don't want Cortana because like I said last time, she's probably dumber than Siri. So not now. And it's going to get things ready for us. I'll see you guys once we're at the Windows 10 desktop. Almost there. And boom, we made it to the Windows 10 desktop. Alright, so now that we've successfully made it into Windows, as you can see, I've switched to my regular camera here due to issues with my capture card used to record the footage for this video. But anyway, once we get into Windows, we're going to finally use the USB we created in the beginning of the video with our Windows support software on it, or in other words, our Windows drivers for this Mac, and we're going to run the setup.exe and let it install all the drivers that it wants to install for this Mac and this Windows 10 installation. Once the USB installer is done installing the drivers needed to run Windows, we are then going to open the start menu and search for Apple Software Update, and that is going to bring up the Apple Software Update utility, where it will then search for any updates available for the drivers that we just installed. And then we will need to install some Windows updates. As usual, when you're using Windows, you know it loves to update all the time. And we're going to restart multiple times. We're going to recheck for updates multiple times. We're going to make sure everything is completely up to date between the Boot Camp drivers and the Windows updates. And once all that is done, you guys are good to go. You can install whatever programs you want on your Mac that is now running Windows and Windows only. Keep in mind there is no copy of macOS on this Mac, and it's going to stay that way. One, because I have 3 Macs, and 2 of those being Apple Silicon, one being the Trashcan Mac Pro that you guys are seeing in the video right now. So quite frankly, I don't need a 3rd Mac running macOS. I would much rather have it on Windows and be able to play all the old classic games I want. So yeah, this is what happens if you delete macOS from your Mac. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. I also have an Amazon storefront linked in the description below, as well as all the products I used to record this video linked down below. So if you wouldn't mind checking that out, anything you purchase from my Amazon storefront, I will receive a very, very small commission for, and your support is greatly appreciated. I need you guys' support to continue fueling these uploads. So if you could purchase literally anything from my Amazon storefront, your support is greatly appreciated. And on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.